Hey, what's going on, everyone? Mike here in the BFH garage. I'm finishing up project back in black, and I'm on my last thing that I need to take care of before I fire this thing up, get everything bled off, and make sure it's running the way it needs to run. Today, I'm going to be dealing with my battery cables. These things are pretty darn corroded, and that can create a lot of issues. I used to have an old CJ5 that the battery terminals were so corroded that even with a brand new battery, I couldn't get the thing to turn over. So believe me, this can create a problem, a lot of resistance, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the correct amount of power to everything that needs it. So come on over here and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So if you take a look inside my battery area here, you're going to notice that the positive terminal here has a tremendous amount of corrosion on there. I've seen worse, there's no doubt about it, but you can see how it gets up into the sheath here and it gets inside. So you can clean the outside as good as you want, but if there's still corrosion on the inside, you're still going to have very high resistance and it's going to create you problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replace all of my battery cables. Let's go over to the table and I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. Before I tell you who I went with as a vendor, a lot of people out there are going to ask me, why not build your own cables? You do a lot of DIY stuff. You could build your own cables. While that's certainly true, tools cost money. Right now, the price of materials is through the roof with inflation. So at this point in time, it's not financially smart for me to go off, buy these tools, buy those materials and try to do it. It would cost more than this entire kit put together a couple times. So I decided to go with this. Now, also because I'm trying to get this Jeep back on the road, I don't have a whole lot of time before the end of the wheeling season's here. So I'm doing everything I can to rush and get this thing done. So that's why I decided to go with an aftermarket kit instead of building my own. Now, one thing you guys need to understand when doing battery cables, if you're going to make your own, when it comes to vehicle battery cables, you do not want to solder the connections. You need to crimp them with a hydraulic crimp, or I suppose you get a hammer crimp and do that, but you do not want to solder joints on a vehicle because they will crack and fail over time, almost guaranteed on that. So with that out of the way, I'm going to let you know that the vendor I went with, jeepcables.com. Now, with that out of the way, I went with them for a pretty specific reason. I like their kit. It's labeled the Big 7, so it replaces the main 7 battery cables in a kit. And another reason that I went with them, hang on, let me get these laid out here. When you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hence the Big 7. Now, when you go with the battery cable kit, you can get different gauge wires. So if you're looking to stay stock, then you can go with the OEM specs on that. I went with 2 gauge because I'm running a winch. I don't have a bunch of lights yet, but when I do, they'll be LEDs, so I'm guessing they're not going to be a big draw. 2 gauge should be plenty for what I'm doing. If you're one of those that puts 18 light bars on their vehicle and a winch out front, a winch out back, you may want to consider going with a larger cable. Now, one of the things I like about the Jeep Cables brand is that all of their wires are marked. So when you look at this, that's marked PDC, and then this side is marked fuse. So on their kit, they send a little fuse here. They give you a couple different there, and that allows to have a fuse in the entire system. So should something catastrophic happen, that should be the first thing to go. You look at the other cables, if you're wondering where it goes, this one here says alternator. This one here says back to the fuse. This one here is your ground that goes to the firewall. This side here goes to the battery negative. So they have these things all marked, all laid out. All I have to do is undo the retaining bolts or screws, plug these things in, and they're going to be good to go. This is going to be a very easy kit to install for me, and I'll give you a little bit of a review about it when I'm all done and let you know whether or not I do like it or not. Another nice thing too is they give you these little caps here to cover over the fuse and all that, so that way we're not having exposed elements there that could catch something on fire should something touch it. So this is it in a nutshell. looking forward to it. Let's get started. All right, before I get over to the Jeep and start taking stuff apart, I want to give you a close-up look of all this. So you look at all the connectors, they're all crimped, and that makes everything very, very good. You got all your cables that are marked, and I'm telling you what, that's awesome. You have your fuse block, you got your fuses over there, and then you have two military style, grade, whatever type of battery terminals there. What that allows me to do is I'm going to be able to put my winch line out here, put another nut on there, and I can build out with everything that I need to make connections for. So nice little thing there. Let's get over to that, get it installed. Okay, as far as installation directions, it's really straightforward. In fact, in the Jeep Cables little instruction sheet they have on their website, it's as simple as disconnecting your battery. You're going to change out all of your negative cables first, then all of your positive ones. To be honest with you, I don't know that it matters which order you go into. The main thing you need to take into account is that you have your battery disconnected. For me, because I'm installing my other battery, I don't have one in here right now, so I don't have to worry about that step of the process. But now I'm just going to go through and simply start changing out cables one at a time and putting them where they are marked. It is that simple. So I'm probably not going to have a whole lot of footage of that because that's kind of boring in that sense. But I'll get all this done, let you guys take a look at it, and then I'll give you a review of the installation process. So one of the things I noticed right off the bat as I'm doing this install, pull my PDC off, get my wires out of there. So here's the original battery cable that went there. And here is the one that goes to the PDC. You can see the different size of holes there. This one does not easily fit over. Now, I don't know if that's a Jeep cables thing or if this is a different fuse box. Remember, my Jeep was a salvage title when I bought it. I think it is the correct fuse box for it. I'm not exactly sure, but this is an absolutely minor issue to me. Very simple. Get yourself a drill your hole out bigger. It'll go right over. And there you go. Literally 10 seconds worth of drilling and it fits right over. So very, very easy problem if you encounter it. So as I'm taking everything out, man, you can really see that corrosion on that battery terminal. Just ridiculous. But anyway, got down to the starter, and I have one of these connections where you have your main starter wire that you get with the cable kit, but it's connected to the other wire there. So again, this could just be something that's based on my year of Jeep, which is a 98. Could be different for all the others. It's pretty simple. These two are not connected. So just take a razor blade, be sure not to cut your cable, cut that thing right in half, and then you can just reconnect it like that. So I just took it over to the workbench and I got it cut in half. So now this piece can go back down there. For you guys that are wondering how deep-seated corrosion can get, if you look here, you can clean a terminal and think that you're good, but you can see how it goes all the way down into here. I didn't even open up the rest of that wire yet. You can really see how corrosion will go in deep. And that is the whole reason for my change out. Just because you can see corrosion on the outside and clean it off doesn't mean you're getting the corrosion that's on the inside of those wires. So just something to consider. All right, as you can see, I have the wiring job done. It is really simple, a little bit time consuming because you want to make sure you get everything done right. I talked about cleaning up your connectors. You want to make sure that you're getting those good grounds because that means everything in an electrical system. So let me come over and show you some of the things that I did and I'll comment on. So starting here, one of the things I'm not necessarily a fan of, but I know that it's kind of the way to do it. I think this wire is a bit too long. It makes it difficult to put there to where I can have it not get bumped or kind of out of harm's way. Not a big deal. It's not going to move a whole lot. And the reason it's making it a pain in the butt for me is I have secondary terminals, as you can see right there. And it's just really close to that secondary terminal. And if I need to make a connection to it, then I'm going to have to take the battery terminal off to get to that. So things like that, you know, they're minor, but at the same time, depending on the battery you have, that can create an issue. I need to, or I still want to make some sort of cover to go over this. The old cover won't quite fit on there. I could make some cutouts, put it on there, it'll be fine. So I still need to do that, which is not a big deal. Getting back to the fuse block they give you here. Now the fuse block is kind of weird in a sense of where is a good spot to really hang that thing. And after everything's said and done, that appears to about be the best spot. I've seen other people do that as well. And it is, you know, it's what it is. So a couple zip ties, it actually holds in there pretty darn good. I went ahead and put a zip tie over the cover. I just want to make sure that doesn't come off and expose the fuse there. One more comment I want to make on that is when you go to tighten these terminals, I would keep them loose until you figure out where you want to hang it and you got the fittings right. But when you go to tighten it up, be careful because the studs are embedded in plastic, is my guess, some sort of plate and molded in the plastic, and you don't want to break that that entire backing block there. So, like any other connection, such as to your starter or alternator, you don't want to crank those down and break pieces off of that. So, overall, really simple job. A little bit time consuming just to make sure that you have everything where you want it to go. Make sure your wire's all bent. As you can see, I hooked up my winch to the main terminal studs over here. I'd like to put them on the secondary studs, but I don't have any nuts right now, and I'm going on a wheel and trip on Saturday, so I'm not going to have time to connect it to there. It'll work fine there. I just want to get them connected to something different than what the actual terminal connects to. And again, that's another problem where over here with that secondary terminal there, it could create a little bit of an issue. But overall, definitely doable, workable, makes it easy. The only other exception, like I pointed out before, is the wire that secondary wire that goes down to the starter. You'll have to separate those to make sure you can keep that. Other than that, everything else is it's good. I like the terminal connectors. They're heavy duty. They give you room to grow on there, which is nice. I just need to think about how I want to run my wiring, maybe change some things up to make it a little more user-friendly for what I'm trying to get out of it. So that's it. That's all I got for this one. Again, jeepcables.com, not sponsored. No, I didn't get them for free. Just wanted to do a little video on it so you guys could see what's all involved.